Murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers.
Let's try that one more time. I always seem to mute my mic. Good evening. My name is Helix, and tonight I will be your raconteur of despair. Welcome to the grind. The consequences of our actions reverberate into the world around us. Many spend their whole lives trying to calculate and predict the future outcome of any given situation. However, when we take action, seemingly in the direction of doing good, and it forces us to sacrifice a part of ourselves, sometimes the consequences end up hurting others. Sometimes when we lose a part of ourselves, the monster inside us can take hold and manifest an entirely new kind of hell. We begin our story tonight September 15th, 2019. In the apartment of the stripper. And we conclude this conversation that was happening. A meeting of the minds, and tension rose as the stripper revealed a glimpse of their true nature. This set several of our individuals present at alarm, and some very frightened. The conversation in question is to gain trust and work together towards a common goal. With this in mind, the scene is yours.
Can somebody please tell me why that fucking cat is just standing there still?
I think we have other more important things than a cat to worry about. Unnerving as it might be.
I don't know why you guys find it unnerving. Well, I can get why, but I'm finding it dope, to be honest. I wish my cat were this looking right between the eyes.
It's just a little odd, but cats are a little odd.
As it sits
We have to
there,
talk about.
or rather stands there, it looks at all of you in the face like it's part of the conversation.
You got something to contribute, little dude?
It just looks.
Fair
I
enough.
lean
Feel
over
free.
and I scritch him behind the ears with one of my stretched out, elongated nails. And I say, "Good boy. Don't worry, they won't hurt you. Mommy will protect you."
It lets you pet it, but it still keeps its eye on everyone.
I'm not worried about hurting it. I'm worried about it hurting me, if I'm being honest. Still kind of like...
I'd honestly think that I don't take any of us
This
for
just
a cat
grew
strangler.
claws. Do you think that's honestly a cat?
Gonna give it a reason to hurt you, like?
I'm not concerned about it unless it can help us, and I don't think it can.
Not unless there's something he's not telling me.
And while I do appreciate a kitty cat, I appreciate the information that you've contributed already a lot more. But that still leaves us with, where do we go from here? What's our next move, everybody?
Where do we even start with this? I mean, I think the Ophion Society could
The Ophion Society is only going to be so helpful. They have their own goals that they're trying to accomplish, and if they think you can be useful, they will give you exactly as much information as you need to know for you to be useful to them. Never the other way around.
Thank you, Sonaris.
Maybe it would be good.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I don't think we're going to find help from the Ophion Society. I think we'll just find more questions.
If they tell us anything at all. I think it'd be better to go over the leads we have and decide which one is the best one to follow first.
Agreed.
Go see if our mutual friend. Where's my phone? Ah, there it is. If our mutual friend might be able to give us more info as well.
What, mystery text man?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Considering that they seem to have some form of surveillance, they seem to have very good timing when they chip in, at least. I'd imagine if they knew anything that they wished to provide, they would have already provided it.
True. Or maybe we're not asking the right questions from them, or talking about the right things.
Well, I guess we get a bit on that. I guess we better get on that quite sharpish then, if we want help from them. If that will work. But I
just
feel
shoot
like
shoot a text to that the scrambled number and just say any info. You bet they're listening.
unless we have an infinite amount of time, which apparently we don't, I suggest we follow the more definite route rather than maybes or hypotheses. Just my opinion, though. What's the surest thing we know that we can follow?
Hmm.
Dead silence spills over the room.
Questions being asked in the Discord.
Damaris,
Mm-hmm.
have you heard of the Porcelain Man?
A little bit.
It's a name I've only just heard thrown around, but I've heard it in connection to some other interesting phrases. What do you know about the Porcelain Man? Anything specific, or just have you heard the name?
Just heard the name. Not too much about him, to be honest.
Point of order. Morven and Stripper. The item that you received, was it destroyed?
Yes,
Yes.
immediately.
Okay.
I copied it, then I destroyed the note.
Really?
Yeah, I copied it into my notes.
Okay.
Well, that was a bit of timing from the music there. I didn't like that.
The music knows.
Didn't copy the symbol. Stress that.
Well, from what I know of the porcelain man, he employs people, and a certain one of them might be attracted to you, Demara.
Why?
Attracted to your friend, let's say.
That's fair. So we should
They
Oh,
might
God.
be very eager to meet you, and if we set up a meeting between you two, the three of us show up, suddenly numbers are on our side, and we might be able to get some answers about someone they work for. It's not much, it's certainly not sure, but
I mean, I'm in. I have enough guns to basically take on a small militia if I need, so
I appreciate that you're in for being used as bait. That's handy. I value that.
bait with a gun.
Someone who's committed to the cause. Ladies?
I just like shooting.
See? Perfect for it.
I feel like relying on firearms in a situation where we're dealing with, supernatural forces might, I
That'd
don't
be the
know,
greatest,
might be.
yeah. But it's all we really have, other than maybe that bitch's nails. But
Well, between the stripper and I think we can handle some at least one other person like us, and then you two can take the more physical approach. But 1-on-4, I think we can handle that.
The stripper, she lets the conversation happen, but she kind of sits back a little bit when he mentions using guns and having a bunch of guns to use against all these people that some of whom she knows, some of whom she doesn't. And she doesn't say it out loud, but she thinks to herself, oh, that's so cute. You think that'll work?
So your intention is to take on the porcelain man?
No, just to find more information about him.
Okay.
I've heard that
I heard mention of
he-
guns, and I was like,
No. You can
just
just
guns are involved doesn't mean death is. Jesus.
I've heard of someone called Novocaine works for Porcelain Man, and he might be interested in meeting you, Damaris, or your friend. And I think if we have a chat with Novocaine about the Porcelain Man, maybe we can learn a little more about bigger players. Like, have any of you heard about famine?
When you say the name
Like
famine,
the lack of food, or you mean like one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse? Because at this point, I'd believe anything, honestly.
I can't speak to her literal presence. Never met her. I assume it's she. I guess I don't know. Wouldn't exactly know if the source would call a man a cunt. But, point being, she's a big player.
when
And
you
I
say
think that they might know something going on.
the word famine, you notice the stripper stiffen up, and all of a sudden she gets a little bit sullen. And as soon as you're done talking, she pipes up and adds, she's a hack. That's all you need to know about her.
Do you know if she's susceptible to 50 cal rounds from a half mile away?
Old friend of me?
Damaris,
Unfortunately, That is one of the few things that won't put a dent in her.
Damn it.
One of the few. If there are many, then we don't need to start at the bottom and work up.
True.
What do you know?
She needs to get her power from willing participants.
Ah.
Anything
Okay.
else?
No, that's useful.
It's useful if we can get to the people who know her and let them know that she's nothing but an amateur witch doctor peddling fake promises.
Hmm.
Well, if she's a fake witch doctor, then why don't 50 caliber rounds work on her?
Boy, those are armor piercing.
Territory and
Well,
trust.
these specifically.
She has people, evidently. Lots of them. Apparently lots of willing ones, if she's so powerful. And it seems like the porcelain man is one of those. I think they work together. I can't be sure. I mean,
What if it works like a
ladies,
pyramid scheme for her? Like, the more people she has under her that gain power also
Probably.
gives her power?
It's a little something like that, but
So she's...
messier.
Mhm.
you would know about messy. I trust you about messy.
I am especially well versed in her specific type of messy, as a matter of fact.
Do tell. Share with the class.
She kind of thinks to herself, and she debates exactly how much she wants them to know. And eventually she comes clean and says, in some circles, she's known as a flesh mage. And then she turns and looks at Damaris and says, the reason armor-piercing 50 caliber bullets aren't going to work on her is because if she's strong enough on that particular evening,
Mm-hmm.
she can just snap her fingers and that hole closes right up.
Hmm.
Apparently she handles favors. And I think we've heard of other people around the city dealing in favors. I'm almost positive at least one of us has probably had some sort of interaction with one of hers and not known it. Likely. But she's as powerful as you say she is. All the more reason to start with Novocaine.
I mean, set up the meet. I'll talk.
Point of order.
I don't know where to find such a person.
Mm-hmm.
The document that you received stated that Novocaine was one of the 5 that were missing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you. Well, it might not be so easy to find him.
Oh.
He's gone missing. Apparently, along with a bunch of the other big people and players.
Okay.
Around the time when the bodies started dropping. Well, roughly, I think. So, if we can't find him, maybe we do go to his boss. Or if
Or we go
anybody
to the
else
people.
knows.
Or we go to the people who are cleaning up now that Novocaine is no longer in their way.
Might I remind Joel that when it comes to finding people and things, tarot cards aren't exactly useless.
Do you think you could find someone you've never met?
When you hear her say that, Peacemaker, you're reminded of that day
It's not exactly a reliable science, but comes in handy.
Well, if I can't do that for you, I don't know what the fuck you guys are keeping me around for. So
Morphin,
I know I'm a good laugh, but like, you know.
The
My
stripper
dude,
leans
if you can
forward
throw
and
your
says,
cards down and give us any kind of direction, that would be helpful as hell.
the
have you ever
stripper
done
leans
a
forward
reading?
and
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say she leans forward and she says, she looks at Morven, she kind of looks her up and down, and if the cards are out and visible, she kind of looks at the deck, or if not, she just looks at Morven and says, I'm intrigued. Let's see what you got.
Alright. Everyone cool with that? It might take me a
As you prepare the space to, I assume, do a card reading, Stripper, you get a text. It says, from a glitched number, trust him, tell him what you know.
I text back, which one? The new guy with the trigger happy finger?
I'm not that trigger happy, I promise.
I text it, I don't say it out loud.
You get a response that says yes.
She kind of smirks, and she nods, and she puts her phone away. Just so the rest of you know, this famine,
Mm-hmm.
the favors she gives people, it's not difficult to spot the people she helps. If you ever heard the expression, it costs an arm and a leg, when it comes to her and the favors she grants people, that's quite literal.
Boy.
Eesh.
So she must be helping some desperate people. Who gets that desperate? Desperate enough to sell literally an arm and a leg.
Drug addicts.
Hmm?
The homeless.
They're
Depending.
literally not that hard to spot.
Yeah.
And she has a cult following. Cannibals who live under the city. Most of them are Maori in nature. But I assume her influence is growing. Because the people who used to keep her in check have gone missing.
So she makes deals for literal arms and legs and has a army of cannibals. That's what I'm getting.
Stumpy at this
Arms,
rate instead of
legs,
an arm.
fingers, eyeballs.
Interesting.
She seems nice.
Eye for an eye is a little bit too literal with her. Oh boy.
An awful lot of power.
That is quite a bit of power. Especially if she has a cult following. We don't know how big that is either.
She's got to have people under her. Not just a massive following, but generals, for lack of a better term.
Well,
Somebody who keeps things straight for her.
I think this will probably be the most sensical thing I've said, and it seems nonsensical almost, but we should really see what her cards say, I guess.
Yeah, go for it, Morven. Do your thing.
Sure. Need to get in the mood. Just
Should I light a
As-
candle or something?
you joke.
No, I will. If it'll help you.
No, just
Whatever
generally
it
a
takes.
calming ambience that helps me focus. That's it really.
As you prepare the space, the cat, who has still not sat down on all fours yet, walks across the entire room on its hind legs and stands in front of Morven, who... Are you doing this on the floor?
If there's a table, I'd prefer that because it's more comfortable. But if there's not, then
It's up to you.
sure. Is there a table I can sit at in your apartment?
Stripper?
Yeah, there's a nice, very ornately carved coffee table in the middle of the living room, on top of a very nice white oriental rug that costs a fortune, and 2 white couches on either side of it that can seat 3 easily.
All right. Yeah. I'll sit there then. It's comfy.
It hops up on the table and stands in front of the cards and watches.
Hey there, buddy.
Clever little thing.
Everything okay?
It just stares at you with its unnaturally long neck.
They say
so
watch
where did
kettle
you
never boils.
where did you find this cat?
I rescued him from a shelter, like everyone else.
Well, I assume given this cat's intelligence, I suppose it more or less found you, rather.
Oh,
In a manner of speaking.
I mean, I guess I just carry on preparing, trying to ignore the fact that I'm being very eagerly stared.
It just watches you.
Charming.
Do you do your reading?
While you're dealing.
I do. Or at least I try.
You will need to roll. And Stripper, you're going to say something?
Nah, it can wait until after the.
Okay.
Am I rolling my identity?
Mm-hmm.
What is for? Okay.
Hmm. You begin to draw cards, and it just kind of feels off to you. Maybe you're distracted by the cat. Maybe you're not able to get in the right headspace in this apartment. But none of the cards make sense to you at the moment. You're not really seeing anything relevant.
Sorry to disappoint, but I think unless they really simplify the reading to the point where it won't provide much relevant information, there's something wrong. I don't know if it's the space or if it's me or if it's just, the universe. But no, maybe not necessarily. I mean, it might help, but offense, buddy. But No.
After she finishes explaining that to us, I look back at my phone that I just got the text on, and I kind of cock my head, shrug. I put my phone away, and I turn to Damaris, and I start explaining. We had a meeting with someone named the Slumlord. We had to pay for some information,
Okay.
and we found out the identity of the 5 missing people.
Whereabouts or
Well, Novocaine, obviously. He's one of the missing. He's Porcelain Man's drug dealer. We've covered that.
Mhm.
Then there's Shutter. He's a rogue assassin. He works freelance. He takes pictures of people, steals their souls, sells them on the black market. Not a major player. I'm not sure why he's missing because he didn't really know anything. But neither did the drink. He probably would have loved to meet you, I think. There's also Big Whisper. He's corporate, very stuffy. His LinkedIn profile is impeccable as it is boring. He steals secrets, sells them to other companies. Merovingian knows him. So, if we wanted to follow that lead, that's the man we would need to talk to. There's also Onyx, freelance, Black Ops, sticks to the shadows in more ways than one. He has his own little cult following, but I imagine they're not nearly as big now that the Purge Gang and the Bone Kings are trying to take over.
The Bone Kings, cannibals underground. They've got to be the ones that are working for a famine.
yeah, it's starting to sound more like a coup than just missing persons, if we're being honest.
Well, it's.
When it comes to the Purge Gang and the Bone Kings, yes, it is very much about power. It is very much about territory. They have things to gain with these people missing. There's an independent player, too. He goes by many names. Sometimes Kane, sometimes Jack the Ripper. I've heard
Wait,
him
what?
referred to as Dahmer a couple of times before, but I think those rumors were a little exaggerated. On the street, though, most people call him the serial killer, but they don't say that very.
What a name.
And then, of course, there's the Sandman.
That's completely changed the enjoyment of that song for me now. It's actually a bop.
We have to be more careful from here on out.
Yeah,
Now that we all
sounds like
know
it.
what we know, the Sandman's going to be gunning for us. And we need to figure out why, and we need to figure out the.
Okay, so what are we doing then? We can walk and talk for just trading info and tidbits. What are we actually doing? Because my little reading back there didn't go all too well. Sorry, guys. So,
Should we? All right, so we basically have what, 3 options?
I think based on one of my identities, I might know somebody who might know something about Novocaine's disappearance. Maybe either someone in the Purge Gang or the Bone.
there are also 2 other gangs, the original 2, that are still in play.
The non-cannibal ones.
The firstborn and the ice pigs, yeah.
Yeah. So the 5 that disappeared, all of them were awake?
Oh, yes.
And the ones that were murdered, well, based on what I'm sure you got a similar letter from everything you've said. And with that said, I'm not sure murder is the right word, but all of them, they were awake too.
The 2 that you know were identified as their regular names, they had normal families, or they had no families, but they had normal lives. They were unremarkable.
Very unremarkable.
Yeah, the rest couldn't be identified.
So unremarkable, it's a wonder they were even targeted.
If we're talking about the same piece of paper, I also saw the term in there, avatar? Like, what? Is that like Airbenders? Or is that like the James Cameron movie?
After you wake up, it's one of the goals, I guess, many people have. Aspirations, more like. Wouldn't you say, stripper?
Something like that, yes. There's a lot of people who want to be avatars, but
I hardly know anyone awake who doesn't. I mean, at least a little.
I've got a pretty comfortable life. Until all of this mess hit the fan, that is.
And avatars are?
Gods. Kind of.
And what?
Kind of. They are what shapes this world. And the next one.
Demigods.
Okay.
One
Hold
step
up, so...
one step below the clergy.
Okay. So that's involved apparently then. If we're all reading from the same.
It's heavy shit that you don't need to worry about unless you wake up. Which,
Well, yeah, I thought that was
There's-
on the agenda at some point.
There's dreamers, there's the awoken, there's avatars, and then there's the clergy.
I'm sure there are others in between, but that's the general gist of it, yeah.
The Awoken are also called adepts.
Adepts is such a blasé word.
It is.
At least I
think we
can
would-
more heavily guess what it means.
Well, I think we would both say we're more than adept at our talents, but
She kind of looks around her very well decorated apartment and kind of says to herself out loud, I'd like to think so.
we both
Yeah,
say-
nice place, by the way.
Thank you.
Chill cat as well.
Thanks.
So, again, what are we actually doing? Because all this information that you guys probably already knew, but I'm a stupid dreamer dumb, this can be discussed later or as and when.
Indeed. All right, can we talk to the person that might know what happened to what was his name? Nicotine, right?
Novocaine.
No.
Novocaine, that's it. Yeah, nicotine. Yeah.
Funny story, he actually never smoked a day in his life.
But
Just add a character, I think I could maybe roll my identity to see if I know anybody in the Firstborn or the Ice Picks drug dealing network.
Okay. There will be a shift. Not in your favor.
89 versus 35.
No.
I look at my phone. I text a couple of people I used to know from my dealing days. I wait patiently, but I don't receive a response. Either those good old boys got out of the game the easy way or the hard way. Either way, nobody's answering me. It's a fickle business.
fair. God damn, we have so much information to work with.
Morven, do you want to share your notes? Or let anyone else know that you have written those notes?
What with Damaris?
Mm-hmm.
Or this? I can most certainly share a note.
You don't have to. I'm just letting you know.
Well, other than Morris here didn't get the note, though, I don't really have much more than whatever these two others here already know. If we're talking about the actual notes I've been keeping. But, Damaris, if you really want to, you can have a look over.
Oh, look at what?
I've been taking notes, even when I've been in the Babylon Club, just in case I forget stuff.
Yeah, sure. It's like might actually get me up to like a
Ripper, you work around the Babylon Club. I assume people know your face, at least in general. Probably have several connections with other folks like us. Right now, I'm fairly certain we received the same information, or at least close to it. But the letter I received mentioned something about essentially a power vacuum in the Porcelain Man's setup. That might be an excellent place to infiltrate, gain some footing, get some information from the inside.
I have some well-known regulars around the city.
If we could find out where they meet up. I mean, we don't have to send a dreamer in to be bait. One of us could go, even both of us. I'm sure that confident even that you could pull your weight if things get nasty. We could handle it for the info.
We could. Eventually, one of these nights, I'm gonna have to get back to work eventually. Every once in a while, I meet someone influential who is lonely and wants to talk. You could be there, hiding in the shadows as backup, just in case he says too much or has trouble. Not saying.
I know plenty about getting people to talk. I'm excellent at it. That's how I make my livelihood. But
Well,
I was
that's something we
talking-
have in common then, isn't it?
I think we have a lot in common. That's why we're such excellent friends right from the get-go. But I was thinking a little more hands-on approach. There's a power vacuum. Why not step into it and take the power? Join the gang under the pretense of chasing that power to get more info about our would-be leader and information about the porcelain man and famine from inside.
When you suggest joining Famine and her Bone Kings, you can see the stripper kind of bristle, and she just because she and Famine kind of are in similar businesses in a sense. She looks at Famine and her Bone Kings as like street rats, basically. I really don't like the idea of associating with.
I know. Because, I mean, look at you. Not to be indelicate, but you clearly have a lot more class than someone who calls themselves Famine. I can only imagine that you typically cater to a higher end clientele than she ever could. But
I'm not nearly as sloppy as she is either.
I am entirely sure. But I'm not suggesting you become her. Only that we pretend for long enough to take her down and get her out of the way. And then there's territory open. We have information and power all of the sudden.
It would be nice if fewer of her vermin were in the city.
I'm just hearing wins.
Ugh. I'm gonna hate myself for saying yes to this.
Sometimes we all hate ourselves in the morning, don't we? But for the good of whatever. Dreamers, what do we have them do, though? They can't very well go charging into this kind of danger like they are.
Damaris, where did you say you work again?
Here and there.
You want to be a little more specific there, pal?
Not when most of my work could get me arrested.
Oh, good old obsequious Damaris. We're talking about joining a cult for famine. Do you think we're concerned about getting you arrested, honey?
And do I look like the kind of snitch who would call the cops?
Exactly. Don't insult her. We're friends here. Come on. You can trust us.
Rats. Been, what, like 2 hours?
We've talked longer than that. I mean, you haven't seen my face the entire time, but we've been in communication for a while. Who else are we going to talk to about this? Who else is going to help? No one. It's the four of us. And as much as I
Dude,
don't like the thought of
literally
dragging you
do
dreamers
a
into
lot
it,
of things, and a lot of them involve either hurting people or killing them, or doing none of those and just intimidating them to the point that they just give whatever the hell I need information-wise to me.
then
I
come
take
along.
contracts and I finish them. It's as simple as that. I do a lot of things, a lot of places.
Sounds like you're perfect for it then. But Morven,
And yeah, whatever you're getting into, I'm in. Like my face is like buried in this note.
That's what we're getting into, so study away, my friend. Morven,
Aye.
you're useful for more than tarot reading. You need to know that.
Ye right. What for then?
Only you can limit that. We don't even know what your powers are yet.
Please don't start this. Patty back at home is full of that shit enough with, oh, you have so much potential. You can do anything you want, hun.
I'm not saying you can do
Southern
anything.
accent.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, Morven. I'm not saying you can do anything. If you come along as you are, I think you'll either die or get traumatized, one or the other. You're a grown adult and can decide for yourself if you want to be in this or not. But what do you think about what the stripper and I were saying? I mean, Damaris is in. Are you willing to go that far? I'll protect you if you do. With everything I've got.
If any of my earlier readings and premonitions are to go by, then I suppose I don't have much of a choice if I ever want to get what I'm after. So
What is that? As friends, we should be honest with each other about our motivations, right? It can only help us get further. And maybe it can help us find a source to your power.
my sister's missing.
Oh. Where'd you
Has been
last
for a
see her?
while. Last saw her dropping her off from school. She
Young?
waved goodbye at me and told me to fuck off for embarrassing her in front of her pals, and that's the last words she ever said to me.
How old is she?
She's a couple of
Teenager?
years younger than me.
Sounded like it. Why do you think she's connected to this?
If you're looking for concrete evidence, then I'm afraid I've got diddly fucking squat. But tarot readings and some unsavoury nightmares, I guess, if we're being open with each other here. I have those aplenty.
Fair enough. Well, clearly you have a connection with some way of knowing things that no one else around here does. So, if something is telling you that you ought to be here, say you believe it.
Yeah, believe it.
That being said, if we do find out somehow how to get into the Bone Kings, are you willing to go as far as necessary? I mean, if we're talking about potentially getting information to find or save your sister.
Yeah, well, when you put it like that, I guess that very much limits my response to yes or yes. So,
Family's a strong motivation. I respect that. I don't doubt you, Marvin.
that's one person. Cheers.
How long does it take, or is there, forgive me for not knowing, a cooldown between trying to do tarot readings?
No, other than my stress levels, I guess. If it doesn't work repeatedly, I get fucking frustrated and I want to chuck the deck across the room. That very rarely helps.
DM, can I try and use my connection with Morven to like calm and assist her in doing another tarot reading?
Yes. Are you using anything special, or are you just using your relationship roll? Or are you
Just our
using?
relationship.
So you've got 3 options. You can use connect, your relationship roll, or you can use any special identity or otherwise.
Yeah, I'll go with relationship role.
Okay, which one do you define Morven to be? All of those reset. All those reset, by the way.
Yep.
So you're gonna make her responsibility.
Yep.
Okay. The appropriate target number should be on there, or you should know which one it is.
Mm-hmm. That would be a 1.
Oh my.
Ooh.
Normally I wouldn't ask this, but in this moment, you, Morven, need to define how you view the Peacemaker in terms of which relationship they would fall under.
So, right, the ones here, I think.
Favorite, guru,
Probably-
mentor, responsibility, or protege?
I think a guru.
Okay. You can write that down. In this moment, I will tell you that the next words that come out of Peacemaker's mouth, you are completely enraptured and inspired by, to the point to where you don't care about anything else in this moment. You are completely motivated by them, and any action they tell you to take will give you a positive shift in your favor.
Cheers.
What is it that the Peacemaker says in this moment? Show us how this plays out, because this is a very rare occasion of a complete critical success.
Marvin, you have something to lose that you can't afford to. I know what that's like. But you have to rely on yourself. I can believe in you all I want. You have to believe in you. I have faith that you can. Go ahead and do it. And then Eve's just gonna sit back and watch.
Okay.
Yeah. You have a point there. You have a point. Okay, alright. But this time... Sorry. Sorry there, little buddy. Could you maybe avert your eyes this as I address the cat?
The cat looks up at you, and you get a very... It doesn't move its facial expression, but for some reason you get a very sad emotion coming off of it.
Yeah, I know I'm pretty, but you know, this face ain't going away. It's fine. It's just for my concentration purposes.
strippers their way, we can put him in a bedroom or something for a little bit.
It
For
looks
her
at
to
Eve.
Be able to focus. I know, Kitty.
Eve, don't
He's
anger
very
it.
handsome. I don't want to anger it. I just want her to be able to concentrate on things other than your cuteness. And she smiles at the cat.
The
I feel like
stripper
that's maybe being a bit patronising.
Aww.
goes to her kitchen, which is towards the end of the living room, almost a little bit split level. There are a few steps up from the main seating area that you got to go up and then walk towards, and it's a very open kitchen. And she reaches towards a bag that's behind the lip of the island, and she shakes some kitty treats at her little boy.
In that moment, it jumps in one leap without even bending down, just using its hind legs from furniture to furniture, and then attaches itself to the stripper's shoulder.
Agile little guy.
And she just feeds him his treat and lets him parrot right there on her shoulder.
I know you can't or won't because of the whole attached to this whole murder mystery, I have powers sort of thing. But you could make absolute bank with YouTube videos without.
Given who I am,
You
the
would
last
probably
thing
have-
I need
Yeah,
is YouTube fame.
I know, but you really could. I know you won't, you can't, but you could though. Anyway, my cards. Thank you though. Get my head down.
I knew not to fuck with that cat.
Don't fuck with any cat.
No, don't fuck with cats.
It's called bestiality, pal, not my thing.
That's why you're here, Morven. Right there.
Right.
That youthful
Tower,
zest.
tower reading, take 2. Electric Boogaloo.
How many cards are you drawing this time?
You make it a bit more complex so that the information's a bit more comprehensible. Nothing to the scale of, like, you know, I have a wall, like, the information equivalent of a wall of text, but maybe like 5 card draw or something.
Okay. Make your roll.
Identity again, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Six, 7.
What'd you get?
67 versus 25. Don't know how much of a shift I get from Eve being like that with me, but worse than last time.
You get the Tower, the Hanged Man, Page of Swords, the Eight of Wands, and the Queen of Swords.
Repeat those so I can note them down, please. DM.
The positive shift in your favor is still not enough.
Could you repeat the cards again so I could note them?
Yep. Queen of
Fine.
Swords, Eight of Wands, Page of Swords, Hanged Man, the Tower.
Thank you. Okay. Bit of a mixed bag. Depending on how you take this. It's not particularly good, it's not particularly bad, but in terms of specific information, might be a bit at a loss. Getting more of a sense of vibes though. Positivity of outcome, whatever we decide to do. Just don't know what it is.
Mm. Let me
The
try
tower's
something.
always a bit.
Marvin, do you mind if I try something?
Depends what that something is.
I don't pretend I can do what you do, but I have other tricks. Can I just touch your tarot deck?
Don't fucking drop them and sure.
Okay. And then, DM, I want to take her tarot cards from her. And I'd like to cast a spell on them, holding them.
What is your spell?
I will DM it to you. Or I can just give you the info, whichever you prefer.
Facebook.
Okay. To get what the cards are trying to communicate.
Did she put the
Yeah.
cards back in the deck, or did she leave them on the table? The ones that she drew.
I noted down what it was, but I put them back in the deck.
Okay.
You said you get angry when you can't read them correctly, right, Morven?
Yeah, quite. A few things I'm fucking good for, so.
No, that's perfect. That's just perfect. Why don't you tell me about worst time you ever had with these cards? Just couldn't get shit out of them. How about you tell me about that?
Oh my god. There's been a few times it's happened. There's been a few times it's happened, but one of the trickiest ones was when my brother Gregor, he was involved in a car crash not too long ago, back in Scotland, and the hospital called me. I already kind of had a shaky feeling that some shit was going down that day, but the hospital called me and they explained what was going on. And as I was on my way, thankfully the plane had tiny little tables. I tried to do a reading in the plane about whether or not he'd be okay, and of course it was in a fucking plane. So I got absolutely nothing, and I was already stressed. And I was sat next to this obnoxious as fuck old lady who told me I was playing with Satan, and it was not a good day. Thankfully, he's fine. He has a bit of a nick in his eyebrow, but by fucking Christ, I could have strangled that woman on a plane. Swear.
Sounds like she really pissed you off. And then I'm just gonna
Yeah.
keep shuffling and cast as I do.
You're shuffling?
Yep.
Stripper? Make a notice check.
84 versus 40.
Okay. Demoris, you can make a notice check as well, due to your passenger.
Ain't seeing shit, boss. 75-35.
Okay. What the audience would see as she continues to tell this story. She shuffles the deck, and a red mist begins to form through the deck. And its source of origin is coming from Morven. Like she's siphoning it out of Morven and placing it into the deck. Morven, when you are telling this story, your emotions begin to swell up. And Eve, you are a fly on the wall in this moment, in this memory. You see this event take hold. You see the frustration in her face. And then you place the cards. What do you do with the cards?
I'll try and do exactly as she would have tried to do. So 5 cards.
Okay. So you're gonna do you're gonna do a form of gutter magic. Okay.
Or, you know what? I'm going to try and see if I can just get the cards to tell me what they were trying to tell her that she couldn't understand. That's what Eve
Okay.
wants to do.
Okay.
Because she doesn't want to do Morven's magic. She just wants to be able to understand what they wanted her to know, but she couldn't seem to understand.
Okay. As you're shuffling, cards begin to fall out. When they fall out, they glide onto the table and lock into a certain position. Just 3 of them. The tower, the devil, and death. But with everyone sees the cards slide this unnatural ease. Just it's like they fell out of the deck, but instead of hitting the floor, they turn and slide onto the table, and they seem to slide perfectly into a row of 3.
Well, I can tell you right now, that ain't good.
This is what they were trying to tell you. What does this kind of reading say?
Well, people knee-jerk react that death is bad, but it just means endings. But in this case, I don't want to be so sure that there's much of a positive spin I can put on it. The tower is mostly to do with uncertainty, I think, and instability. Sort of careful where you put your foot sort of idea. And the devil, well, it's a bit more self-explanatory. It's a lot to do with anger, jealousy, delusions, and violence, and, you know, general sinny stuff. On a closer level, it seems to be a very negative warning.
Well, this was about the porcelain man. That's what I asked you to do the reading on.
You get the sense from this 3 cards set up, someone is about to die.
I do, or Morven does.
Both of you at the same time.
Huh.
In that moment, Damaris, you get a text.
Something exciting's about to happen.
It's from your employer.
Exciting's one word.
Are you busy?
Oh, little, what's up?
Call me right now.
Just kind of eyeing him on his phone.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. Where is the bathroom out in here?
I point in the direction. It's a pretty small hallway. It's it's easy to find.
I got you. I'm gonna go find the bathroom and give him a call.
He picks up. Damaris!
Yo, what you need?
Yeah, this is not good. Listen, I don't know what you're doing right now, but you need to head down to the corner of 33rd and Trinity under the overpass. This,
What the fuck is happening now?
it's not good news. I don't know if you've been tuned into the police radio band recently, but something bad's happened tonight.
No, what the hell is going on?
A certain detective
Mm-hmm.
was just killed.
Oh, that's really not good. Did you do it?
No,
Did your boys do it?
no. But the body
Fuck,
is still
dude.
there. The cops are there. I need you, take whoever you can with you. Get down there right now. Figure out what the hell went wrong.
I got it. Send me the longitude, latitude. Get him away as soon as I can.
He says it. He says it's the corner of 33rd and Trinity.
Ah, yeah, sorry. It's been a long day, man. All right.
If you got backup, bring it. Because this shouldn't have happened.
All right.
I'm
Will
outside
do.
of town at the compound. I can't get there this fast. Wherever you are, you can get there faster. And you realize, Damaris, it's not very far away from you. It's maybe like 6 blocks.
Yeah.
And you know a certain detective was supposed to be here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And he said
I'm
he
gonna-
had some business to take care of. He got called away.
Mhm. Yeah. So I'm gonna come out of the bathroom, walk in there, look at Eve, be like, "We need to go now."
All right, what's going on? And then I just get up and start walking.
Might be some trouble with the missing person from here tonight. If you catch my drift, we need to go now.
I understand there's something urgent in the tone of his voice. All right, fine. Ladies,
We just got to get to
Lamar.
33rd and Trinity. If we can get to the fucking vehicle, we can
Hey.
be there in less than 10 minutes.
I understand. Tell me, how much help do you need?
Oh no, I need all of you. I
Okay.
wasn't just talking to you. I started looking around. I'm like, I need all of you.
Well, are we in this together,
What,
ladies?
even the cat?
I mean, hell, yo, Speedy
the
boy, think you could be of help?
It might be able to creep somebody out.
Oh, no, that's mean. Look at him, he's adorable.
He is precious.
She
like
will
a child
absolutely
without
take the cat
thumbs.
with.
Just look at all of them like, y'all are fucking weird. And I
When you go
turn
to take
around
the
and go out
cat,
the door.
when you go to take the cat makes it known that it doesn't want to go.
Okay, explain on the way. What do you know and how did you get the info?
Not much, and don't worry about it because I can't tell you, to
You
be
won't.
honest.
Can't
Well,
live on Wall Street, my friend.
Full disclosure then, as we head on out, that reading just there, I still vaguely believe in the whole, like, fluidity of time and being able to, change the future and shit, but, if the cards are anything to go by, somebody's gonna die.
He's probably already dead. That's what I'm worried about. That's why we got to go now.
Right.
He's dead.
Quite possible. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
On
go.
the way there at the very least. Knocking at the door. Yeah, let's fucking move.
What
Be
car do you
fucking
choose
careful.
to take?
Bring Stripper, do you have any kind of defenses that we might be able to give to the little dreamer? You don't look like the type to carry a handgun, but Damaris, do you have a
Hey,
spare?
don't we have a military vehicle still?
No,
Any longer,
that was in
friend?
another universe.
This world.
Previous timeline. God damn it. I was like, man, I got shitloads of guns.
You have what you have on
yeah,
you.
actually, yeah. I'm not gonna like this, but I pull up my my revolver from my leg, and then I hand whoever needs it my actual pistol, and I'm like, yeah, I got you.
All right, give it to Morven. Stripper, you and I can take care of our
Do you know
stuff.
how to
We're
use that?
going to a potential murder.
I can fucking guess. This is
Point
the
and click.
safety, this is the shooty bit.
Good
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
Don't point it at anybody unless you want to kill them. That's it.
Always
Let's go.
remember rule number
Ha
one:
ha!
a most dangerous gun is an unloaded one.
I highly doubt that's rule number one.
No, because you never know if it's unloaded or not.
Do not talk about Fight Club. Anyway, we fucking going or what?
Yeah,
I'm already booking it out the door, guys. Like I'm.
Yeah.
getting gone. What vehicle? I have a small powder blue Prius.
I'm letting y'all figure that out. I am making my way. I am determined to get there as soon as I can.
I follow
Just
Eve
pick
to
me
her
up
car.
on the way if you need to.
Are
What
you all
vehicle are you
taking?
driving, Damaris? It would be more efficient to move together.
That
I'm
is
just
I
true.
gonna
don't have
follow
a car.
Damaris to his car.
Yeah.
Is this the pickup truck?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is a pickup truck.
Okay.
There's room for two in the
Yeah.
front.
I would say y'all can file in the back, but there ain't no tailgate, so have fun with that.
I'm not sitting in the bed of a pickup. I'll get in the back seat though.
Y'all can hang on to the light bars if you really want, but it's illegal in the city anyway, so.
No,
There's
I'm
room
fine
for-
back
Right.
here.
There's room for two in the front.
Oh, it doesn't like it has a 2-passenger cab, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's a bench seat, 1991
Ah.
GMC 1500 or something of that sort, if I remember.
Just get in my
Good
car.
to
I
know.
can seat 4. I mean, it's small, but it seats 4. Come on.
Start my truck as she's saying that, and I'm like, get in your car and meet me there.
You
And I
Wait.
go,
33rd and Trinity, you said?
yeah.
Mars is a little shit at taking your car.
Okay.
Damaris. God damn you. Okay. Come on, ladies in the Prius, I suppose.
Also, I hope, have you read through the notes at all, Damaris?
All right. Are we obeying the speed limit or are we not?
Yes, and before, at the first stoplight I hit, I am putting my gun in the glove box and pulling out my PI badge.
Okay.
Do
Eve is
officers
just
not get
keeping.
those little siren wee woo things for putting on their car?
Oh, I'm not an officer.
Oh. Yeah,
Eve is
I
just gonna
bet.
follow him. She won't try and like speed or anything.
Um, There is no need to make a roll. You're not going very far. You arrive on the scene. And you see about 5 cop cars, an ambulance. They're all out of the cop cars and they've got a place taped off. There's a few people walking by trying to figure out what's going on. And it's underneath this overpass. And they're all cuddled around this body on the ground, and there is a lot of blood around it. And it is covered with a blanket. I need all of you to make a notice check.
26 to 35.
13 versus 45.
68 versus 40.
48 versus 45.
More than this will be a pass for you because it directly relates to you.
Okay.
And the action that you just took with your cards. Because this is in the moment of that magic. It's still going. You see them take the blanket off as it looks like they're finishing up and about to take the body away. When they take the blanket off, you see the body of Ewan. His neck has been completely gutted open. Part of the collarbone is even ripped out. And there is blood everywhere. And in that moment, Damaris, Morven, Peacemaker, you are flooded with flashes and memories of Ewan helping you, saving you. That assault, that alien assault of emotions of Ewan trying to help you and save you in different types of scenarios. It's like one after the other. And this harrowing person coming to your rescue in multiple ways, multiple times, looking seemingly different in some of these. And all of you are stricken with that emotional state for a few moments while the stripper looks on as the men pick up the body, put it on the cart, put it into the vehicle, and you see they all pull away. And you're left standing there. As they come to, the three of them, realizing you now have a moment to approach the scene that no one is around.
Shit.
Are there any officers still around?
No, they all got in their cars and left.
I'll
Okay.
take advantage of that moment ASAP.
You all approach the scene?
Yeah.
Before I do, I'm going to shoot a single text to the person that called me a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to say, find who did this.
Okay. You approach the scene, and the blood has seeped into the ground. There's even a few bits of flesh. Things are actually marked off a little bit. They've got little numbers and stuff where people have taken samples and taken pictures. And among that, you see in the blood-stained ground, burned into the ground, is a very clear image of the Justice card. In that moment, Stripper, Morven, Eve, you realize you are responsible for the death of this man. And it's in that moment a distant explosion happens from behind you.
What in the fuck was that?
You all heard that, right?
Do I see smoke?
Yes, you look behind you and you see the apartment that you just came from at the top. It's completely in flames.
That's your building?
I need to move now. We're being targeted.
Yeah, clearly.
Those
Alright,
motherfuckers are gonna die.
Get in my goddamn car. We do not need to be separate right now.
just follow me. Keep calm. Follow me. We will be in a safe place very soon, I promise. And then we can
Stubborn
talk.
asshole. I want to look around and see if there's anything like a chunk of flesh sizable enough to be stuffed in a pocket.
Notice.
Can I use an ability or an identity that substitutes for notice?
Yeah.
It's a little higher. Okay. 28 versus 49.
You do find one.
Gonna stuff a piece of Ethan in my pocket. Let's go. Come on.
You
Can I take a split second to use my predatory sight to see if I notice anything important, or more importantly, if there's anyone nearby we should be concerned about?
yes.
Lurking in the shadows, watching us? Okay.
When you touch that flesh, that chunk of human, you are very strongly stricken with guilt.
Yeah.
You didn't think you could feel that kind of guilt again, ever. But this feels like a cosmic guilt. Like that dream that you had, like this is somehow more than just one man. And you're responsible for it. You look around and you see tears going down Eve's face. What did you roll for your sight?
I accidentally double rolled. Which one do you want me to use? The first one or the second one?
We will take the first one.
74 versus 30.
You watch as the blackness and darkness in the stripper's eyes just becomes absolute void of nothing. She looks almost possessed by a demon. There is some black veins starting to come through the skin, and you see her teeth kind of elongate and sharpen just slightly as she looks around and scans. I need to roll because there are other people here watching you. Two people see you and they freeze, and then they scream, "What the fuck is that?" And then they take off running.
I scream out after them, "What? You never heard of cosplay?"
Okay.
Do you think that's going to be a problem?
Never been a problem before.
First time for everything.
Your apartment wasn't as secure as you thought, obviously.
Yeah, obviously not. Do you know how long I spent decorating that apartment? How many priceless relics have been lost to history now? But
We can talk about it once we're
I'm
not
sorry.
in range of dying.
Yeah, let's do that. Damaris, go. I'll follow.
I am leading them to the bunker safe house, by the way, Helix. It should only be like a mile or two.
Is that the one where your employer is, or just one of your other safe houses?
It's just one of mine. It's my favorite one, to be honest. It's where all my normal shit is.
Okay.
It's also hidden like below this like skyscraper thing. You have to go through like the basement to it, you know?
Okay.
Cool.
Morven, what are your thoughts in this moment as all this took place? And you see the stripper reveal a face of terror. And you know that you are responsible.
Folks back at home probably be pretty fucking pissed if they knew what I was doing. I should have texted them ages ago to let them know I was okay, and frankly I don't know if I should now or if I'll ever see them again. Or if it would be ever safe to now.
Okay. As you all sit in silence and drive off into the night towards what is hopefully a safe house, we will pause our story here for now. Thank you for watching.